So hey there awesome developers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, you are going to learn how to make an API call in React Native. So I have already set up my project using the command npx create-expo-app followed by my project name, which is Expo Projects in my case. So you can definitely run the command npx create-expo-app followed by whatever project name you want to give. Or you can definitely check out the Expo docs in order to find out the command, or I will attach the command in the description of this video. And I have also done the bare minimum setup, which is I have created a folder called screens, and inside this screen I have a product listing screen. Now let us see what do we have in this product listing screen. So here I have written 4 steps which we will be going through in order to successfully fetch the API and display the data on the screen. So here is the collection of 4 steps. So the first one is fetch the API, and then we are going to check the data in the console. We are not going to directly show it on the UI. First we are going to check the format of the data, what data structure is being used in this API, and then we are going to use the data to update the state, and we are going to use the Flatlist component of React Native to render the data on the UI. Then we are going to handle the errors and the error state, because handling errors is very important. And the final step we are going to do is we are going to add a loading indicator for a better user experience. So for this as well, we are going to use the React Native core component, which is activity indicator. So this video is going to be a lot of fun, so I request you to watch the video till the end. Now let us get started and tackle down the step number 1, which is fetch the API. So now to start working on this project, let me run a command to start my simulator, which is expo start. And in order to run the project on your machine, you have to do the same. Go to your project directory and run this command expo start. And I'm going to use it for iOS, so I'm going to press I. So it will take few seconds, and over here we see we have a simulator running. And let me refresh the app so that we see the content over here. Alright, we have not added anything over here, so let me add hello fetch API to see if things are working fine. And we have not imported text, so let me import it quickly. Yeah, so we have our app.js showing over here, which is the entry point. But now instead of this app.js, we are going to add this product listing screen in a while. So now let us start working on the step number 1. So let me create a component over here, which is product listing screen. We have our style sheet, text and view imported from React Native, a React from React, and we have a view over here and a text inside it. So we don't need the text, so I am simply removing it for now, or let us just keep it so that we can see if our product listing screen has been successfully imported over here. So now let me import it, product listing screen. Yeah, we have successfully imported product listing screen. Now let us start working on the first step, which is to fetch the API. So to fetch the API, we need an API, right? So for that, what I did is I grabbed an API which I'm going to show you. So first let me make a URL so that I can store that. So this is the API that we are going to fetch. So this is provided by fake store API. You can definitely Google this out and you will find the first link and you can grab it from there. Okay. Also, I will attach the link in the description so you do not have to worry about the API URL. Now let us start working. So let me add my simulator over here and let me minimize this tab. Perfect. So we need to fetch the API and check the data in the console. So let us quickly do that. For that, I'm gonna make another function, get products, and also we are going to basically keep this, let's keep this URL over here, And now what we are going to do is we are going to basically use fetch, which is provided to us by JavaScript. And over here we are going to pass the API, and we have stored our API in this URL variable. So, and now it is going to give us a promise which we are going to handle using the dot. Then we're going to chain it over here, and now we're going to get a response. So we are going to convert that response into a readable format. So we are going to use response.json. Let me write convert it into readable format, parse. Okay, so now what we are going to do is this thing also will return us a promise. So again we are going to chain it with the another dot. Then and now over here we are going to get our data, and now we are going to work with this data. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is log the data to see what data we are dealing with. So our get products function is ready, but now we need to get our use effect hook in order to make the side effect, which is fetching an external API. So for that what we are going to do is I have imported use effect, and it is going to take an arrow function, and over here I'm gonna call my get products. And what I need to do is I need to call this use effect. I want this use effect to run only once, so I'm gonna provide an empty array. All right, so I hope you know this is basic React concept, that if you want the use effect to run only once, then you need to provide an empty array, so it will run only after the initial render, which we want in this case. So I have successfully called this inside use effect. Now let us see if we have something in our console, and let me open the debugger. Press Ctrl Command D if you are on Mac, and I don't know about Windows, it's the same I guess. And open JS debugger, so it will open a debugger for us. And let me go to the console. Here we are getting some issue. Maybe I refresh the app again. Okay, it is showing undefined. Let me check it over here. The URL is correct, and we are calling the get products. We are logging the data. Okay, we need to return it. Otherwise how will it resolve into a promise? So we have successfully returned it. I forgot to add the return command. Now let us again see. Yeah, we have an array of 20 products. So now this is the reason why I instead of directly updating the UI, we first log it to the console, so that we can see what actually we are getting. We are getting an array of 20 items, an array of objects which contain these particular keys: category, description, ID. You can go through all these. So for this tutorial I'm just gonna work with this image and a price, image and price. Both of these keys we are going to use. So let us go back to our code. So our first step has been successfully done. We have checked the data in the console. Now let us start working with the second step, which is to use the data to update the state and use Flatlist to render the data. So for that we are going to make another state. So it would be products and a setter function. Initially it would be an empty array. As soon as we are going to get the data, we are going to populate it with the data. So product is empty, and now over here what we are going to do is we are going to update the products with the data that we got, right? But now still this is not showing the list. Why? Because we are not rendering it over here inside this return statement. So for that what we are going to use is flat list, not float. It's flat list from React Native, and it gets a data prop. So to this data prop I want to pass the products array, which is this one, because I want to render it. It has now the data right? We updated it data, so this product will contain the data now. And in order to render it, I'm gonna call this render item, and we are going to basically display a view, not this one, yeah, this. And inside this view, what we are going to do is, first let us destructure the item. Yeah, we want the item. And now inside this view, what I want is, I want an image from React Native, okay, and I want a text, fine, for the price, image for the image, and text component for the price to render the price. And now I have some styles which I have already added, so let me paste it over here. So I have added some styles, do not worry about all this, these are some basic styling. And the first one is for car container, which we will be applying later. Now for as of now, let's work with this image. So for that, what we are going to do is, we are going to first pass the source probe, and it will take a URI which will contain the item dot image, because this is the key name, right? And we need to wrap it inside another object. Okay, still it won't show because we have not added the style, so let me quickly add the style, styles dot image. Yeah, see here we got our images successfully rendered using Flatlist. And now to render the text, what I'm gonna do is item dot price. Perfect, we have our price. Let us just give it some styling so that it look better. Font size to be 18 and text align center. Yeah, seems fine to me. And now what else we have, I want to add the card container. I will add this, the container style, to this view, styles.card container, and here we go. So you can see we have successfully added the card container style. We have some shadows and we have a background color, so this seems fine to me. And you can definitely go ahead and remove this vertical scroll indicator. So for that, you can simply add this show vertical scroll indicator to false, and it is definitely your choice. If you want to, then you can. Okay, so we have successfully completed two steps. We have successfully rendered the data using Flatlist, and now let us move to step number 3, which is handle the errors and error state. So whenever you are fetching any API, so there are chances that you can face some errors, like, right? So let's say you entered a wrong API, or let's say you made some typo in this API. So for that, we need to handle the errors as well, right? So let me show you that how it is done. So over here, we are going to add a small check. If the response dot OK is false, which means that there is some issue with the network request, because OK means the network request was very successful, and if this is not successful, that means there is some error. So we are going to throw that error using this code. So something went wrong. You can add any message that you want to, a suitable message. And now when this is triggered, we need to this error is thrown to the nearest catch block. So for that, we are going to add a catch over here, and we're going to access the error. Okay, and now over here we are going to log the error. So let us see how the error looks like. Let me make a mistake typo in this products, and now let me open the debugger, open JS debugger, and in the console let us see. Let me again refresh. So see, here we got an object. So this is the error object, okay, and here we have a message, something went wrong. So whatever message you write inside this one, it will be accessible to us in this error object. Okay, so we can write error dot message over here, and now see, we got our message simply instead of the entire object. So we are going to use this error.message to update our state, but we will do that in a while. So we are going to update the state of the error so that the error message is visible over here, but we are going to do it in a while because I want you to have I want us to add a loading indicator first. So let us move to step number 4. So for that, what we are going to do is I'm gonna add another state is loading, and set is loading. And initially it would be true. Yes, we want it to the loading indicator to be shown. And over here, what we are going to do is we are going to add a check that if is loading is true, we want to show a loading indicator, sorry, activity indicator, which is the core React Native component. So here you can pass a color for the indicator. I'm gonna give it a red as of now, and size, this would be large. You can pass small as well. Okay, yeah, because we have not handled the ternaries in a proper way. If is loading is true, we are going to show this, else we are going to show the flat list. Yeah, now here you see we have successfully added a loading indicator. So this loading indicator basically gives a better user experience, right? So let's say if your user is using your app and he's going to fetch the data, so you don't want them to see a blank screen, right? Instead you can add a loader so that the user experiences gets better, so that the user gets to know that okay, there is something that is being loaded in some time. Okay, so instead of showing a blank screen, this is way better. And now it is loading and loading and loading and loading, right? So we do not want that. We want that if the data comes, if we have successfully fetched the data, then we should first let me correct this one. Yeah, so it is loading, and we want that if the second data is successful, we have successfully fetched the data, we want the loader to be not shown. So for that we can set it to false, and there we go. As soon as the data arrives, the loader disappears and we see the data. Let me refresh it again. Let me show you one more time. Here you go, we show the loading indicator, and once the data has been arrived, the loading indicator has been removed and we got this array. So yeah, that was it for our step number 4. And now let us again come back to step number 3 and handle the errors. So for that I'm going to use another state, const error, set error, assuming we don't have any error as of now, so let us set it to null. And over here we are going to set the error to error.message. Earlier we were logging it in the console, now we are updating the set error. We are updating this error variable with the correct error message, and now we need to show the error also, right? So we are going to handle it using the nested ternaries. So let's say if is loading is true, we are going to show the loading indicator. Otherwise, over here, if we have error, then we are going to show a text. So here it is going to get the error message which is coming from the error state, this one. Okay, so here we will be displaying our error message. And but okay, so let us understand this. If is loading is true, we are going to show the activity indicator. Otherwise we are going to show the error. And if the error is true, we are going to show the error text. Otherwise everything is perfectly fine, so we are going to show the our flat list. So this is for the nested conditions. Okay, and now let me again make a mistake inside this URL. See, here we go, we have successfully shown our error message on the UI. So you can definitely go ahead and style this. Let me see if I have any style for this. Yes, error style. So styles.error style. Yeah, we have something went wrong in red color. So we have successfully completed all the four steps. We have fetched the API, checked the data in the console. We have successfully used the data to update the state, and we used Flatlist to render the data, which is very optimized. We in the step 3 we handle the errors and error state. We show the error on the screen, and we successfully added a loading indicator for a better user experience. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You learned how to handle the errors, how to fetch the data, how to update the error state, how to update the loading indicators. So if you like this tutorial, smash the like button and do consider subscribing this channel.